Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep into total leadership today.
Ooh, interesting.
It's a concept that goes way beyond, just managing a team at work.
Right.
It's about integrating like every aspect of your life for a more fulfilling experience.
Yeah, I love that.
We'll be using Stewart D. Friedman's book as our guide.
Okay, awesome.
And get ready to hear some fascinating stories along the way from people like Jenna, Andre, Carrie, Victor, Roxanne, Lim, and Ismail.
Wow, that's quite the lineup.
Yeah, they're all on this journey of trying to live more integrated lives.
It's so relatable. So many people are struggling with this these days.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics.
Okay.
What exactly is total leadership?
Well, at its core, it's about creating what Friedman calls four-way wins.
Four-way wins.
Yeah, results that benefit not just one area of your life, but all of them.
Okay, so not just work, but family, community, even your own personal well-being.
Exactly. It's about understanding that all these domains are interconnected.
I'm starting to see how this goes beyond traditional leadership.
It definitely does.
Now, Friedman outlines 3 core principles in his book.
Okay, let's hear them.
Be real, be whole, and be innovative.
Those are catchy. I like it.
They are. But I'm curious, what do they actually mean?
Well, let's break them down, starting with be real.
All right, be real. That sounds pretty straightforward.
It might sound simple, but it's really about aligning your actions with your core values.
So it's about authenticity.
Yeah, but it's also about having a clear vision for your leadership.
So like a picture of the future you want to create.
Exactly, and that future should encompass all 4 domains of your life.
I see. So it's not just about being a better boss, but a better person overall.
Right. It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
No, I'm thinking about Jenna's story here.
Oh, yeah, Jenna.
She was really struggling to balance a demanding job with caring for her aging father.
That's a classic be real dilemma, right?
Totally. She had to figure out how to be a dedicated employee
Yeah.
and a devoted daughter.
All while staying true to her own values.
Exactly. It sounds impossible.
It's definitely challenging, but Jenna's story shows us it's possible.
So how did she do it?
Well, one key was learning to delegate effectively.
Delegate.
Yeah, she realized she couldn't do everything herself.
That's a tough one for a lot of people.
It is, but by delegating, she was able to free up time for her father.
And empower her team at work.
Exactly. It actually led to better results overall.
So she created a 4-way win.
Absolutely. She was a better leader at work, her team thrived, she spent more time with her father, and she probably felt less stressed.
That's amazing. So be real is about actions matching values and having a clear vision.
That's a great summary.
Now, what about be whole?
Okay, be whole. This one often gets misunderstood.
Yeah, does it mean we have to spend equal time in every area of our lives?
Not at all. It's not about splitting your time perfectly.
Okay, good, because that sounds impossible.
It is. Be whole is more about acknowledging the interconnectedness of your life.
Interconnectedness.
Yeah, like a web. Tug on one strand and the whole thing moves.
I like that analogy.
So it's about realizing that what you do in one domain impacts all the others.
So if I'm neglecting my own well-being, it will affect my work and my relationship.
Precisely. And that's where the idea of key stakeholders comes in.
Key stakeholders.
These are the people who matter most to you in each domain.
So like family, colleagues, community members.
Yes. Total leadership encourages you to consider their perspectives as you make decisions.
That makes sense, but it also sounds like a recipe for conflict.
It can be tricky.
What if what my boss expects clashes with what my family needs?
That's where the 4 circles exercise comes in handy.
The 4 circles.
You literally draw 4 circles representing work, home, community, and self.
Oh, I've heard of this.
It helps you visualize where your attention is focused and if there are any imbalances.
Right, like if one circle is huge and another is tiny.
Exactly. Victor, one of the people we'll hear from later, had a big aha moment with this.
What happened?
He realized he was so focused on work and family that he was totally neglecting his community and himself.
Ouch, that's gotta hurt.
It did, but it was a wake-up call. He started making changes to be more present in those areas.
So it's not just about time spent, but about being psychologically present.
Exactly. You can be physically at work, but mentally checked out.
Or scrolling through your phone at dinner with your family.
Exactly. Total leadership is about being engaged and present wherever you are.
That's a challenge for many people, especially for all the technology we have today.
It is. The lines between work and life are blurred now more than ever.
So how do we navigate that?
It's about using technology mindfully to enhance our connections and create those 4-way wins.
Okay, so be whole is about being intentional with our attention and energy, not just our time.
I like that. Well said.
Now, what about the third principle? Be innovative.
Ooh, this one's exciting.
It sounds like it could involve big changes.
It can, but it doesn't have to.
So it's not about quitting your job and sailing around the world.
Not necessarily.
Okay, good, because I'm not ready for that.
Be innovative is about having an experimental mindset.
Experiment.
Yeah, constantly looking for ways to improve and adapt.
So like trying new things.
Exactly. Friedman calls them smart experiments.
Smart experiments.
Small, intentional changes that you test and refine over time.
So instead of a complete overhaul, you start with small, manageable steps.
Exactly. It's about building momentum through those small wins.
That feels a lot less overwhelming.
It is. And each experiment should have a clear goal and a way to track your progress.
So like a roadmap.
Yeah, you need a scorecard to make sure you're on track to achieve those four-way wins.
This reminds me of Ismail's story.
Oh, tell me about it.
He totally restructured his company as an experiment.
Wow, he really went for it.
Yeah, he wanted more freedom and flexibility to integrate work with his personal life.
And it worked.
It did. He found a way to make it work for him and his company.
That's incredible. It shows that be innovative can apply to all areas of life.
It definitely does. So be innovative is about experimenting and making small intentional changes.
And using those small wins to create bigger, more lasting changes.
I like that. This has been a great overview of the core principles of total leadership.
Yes, we've covered a lot.
But I'm curious, how do we actually put these principles into action? What are the tools and techniques?
Great question. That's what we'll be exploring in more depth as we continue our deep dive.
Sounds like a plan. Stay tuned, everyone.
We'll be right back. So we talked about those smart experiments as a key part of being innovative.
Yeah, the idea of making those small intentional changes.
Exactly. But those changes often involve other people.
Right, our stakeholders.
Exactly. Those key stakeholders. Remember them.
Of course, the folks who matter most in each domain of our lives.
Right. And getting them on board with our experiments is crucial.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Through stakeholder dialogues.
Stakeholder dialogues. It sounds a little intimidating.
I know it can seem that way.
Like I'm about to have a tough conversation with my boss.
It's not about being confrontational, though.
So what is it about?
It's about approaching these conversations with genuine curiosity.
Curiosity.
Yeah, and a desire to understand your stakeholders' perspectives.
So it's more about listening than talking.
In a way, yes. It's about building relationships and finding common ground.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this fits into the whole total leadership approach.
It's all connected.
But what about those stakeholders who are, well, let's just say resistant to change?
Ah, the dreaded stakeholders.
Yeah. How do you handle those conversations?
They can be tough, no doubt about it.
It's like trying to convince my teenager to clean their room.
I feel you there.
So any tips?
Well, first, remember that even those resistant stakeholders can offer valuable insights.
Valuable insights.
Yeah. They might point out flaws in your plan or help you see things from a different angle.
So you're saying they can actually make the experiment better?
They absolutely can. It's about turning potential obstacles into opportunities for growth.
Okay, that's an interesting way to look at it.
So don't shy away from those difficult conversations.
But how do you make them productive?
Preparation is key. Think carefully about their expectations and how your experiment might affect them.
So put yourself in their shoes.
Exactly. Empathy is crucial in these dialogues.
By understanding their perspective, maybe we can find common ground.
That's the goal. And sometimes you might need to negotiate.
Negotiate. Like a business deal.
Not exactly. In total leadership, negotiation is about finding mutually beneficial solutions.
So it's a win-win.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to get creative with your solutions.
So it's about communication, empathy, and flexibility.
Those are essential skills for total leadership.
And this brings to mind Carrie's story.
Oh, Carrie, yes.
She wanted to prioritize her own well-being.
Which is so important.
It is, but she was worried her stakeholders would resist.
What happened?
Well, she had those open and honest conversations.
Yeah.
It turned out they were actually really supportive.
That's fantastic.
It just shows the power of dialogue.
It really does. Sometimes we make assumptions about how people will react.
Right, until we actually talk to them.
Exactly. So those stakeholder dialogues are the first step.
Okay, so what's next? How do we design these smart experiments?
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
But before we do, are there any common mistakes to avoid?
Oh, absolutely. One big one is trying to do too much at once.
So don't bite off more than you can chew.
Precisely. Start small and build momentum through those small wins.
That makes sense.
Another pitfall is neglecting your scorecard.
The scorecard.
Yeah, remember we talked about having a way to track your progress?
Oh, right, to make sure we're achieving those four-way wins,
Exactly. That scorecard is your compass.
guiding us towards our destination.
Love that. And finally, don't underestimate the importance of communication.
Communication again.
Always. Keep your stakeholders in the loop, share your successes, address any concerns.
Transparency is key.
It builds trust.
This whole approach seems very focused on serving the needs of others.
You're picking up on something important. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness.
We're not isolated individuals.
Exactly. We're part of a larger web of relationships.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
I love that saying. And that's why involving your stakeholders in the design process is crucial.
So it's not just about informing them, but about actively collaborating with them.
Yes. Seek their input, get their feedback, co-create solutions together.
It's a team effort.
It is. It's about shifting from a me mindset to a we mindset.
That's a powerful shift.
It's at the heart of total leadership.
Now, what about our personal networks?
You mean our friends, family, mentors?
Yeah, the people who support us outside of work.
They play a huge role. Think of them as your coaching network.
Like a personal board of advisors.
Exactly. They can offer advice, encouragement, and accountability.
It's like having your own cheerleading squad.
And just like with stakeholders, the more diverse your coaching network, the better.
So family, friends, colleagues, even people from our hobbies.
So the more perspectives, the richer your journey will be.
This reminds me of Lim's story.
Oh, Lim, yes. What did he do?
He decided to train for a marathon with his work team.
That's awesome.
This wasn't just about his own physical health. It was about building camaraderie and strengthening those work relationships.
And I bet it boosted morale, too.
It did. They achieved a four-way win for sure.
See, total leadership in action.
Okay, I'm really excited about this, but it also sounds like a lot of work.
It's definitely an ongoing process.
How do we make sure we don't burn out?
That's a valid concern. Total leadership isn't about adding more to your plate.
It's not about doing more.
It's about integrating the different areas of your life more effectively.
So they work in harmony.
Exactly. It's about finding that flow state where everything clicks into place.
That sounds amazing.
It is, and it takes time and effort.
This has been so helpful. I'm feeling much more equipped to start experimenting.
That's great to hear.
But before we move on, I'm curious about the mindset piece.
Mindset.
Yeah, what kind of internal shifts do we need to make to really embrace this whole total leadership thing?
That's a great question, and that's actually what we'll be diving into in the final part of our deep dive.
Oh, I can't wait.
Get ready to explore the transformative power of total leadership.
Sounds intriguing. We'll be back after a short break to explore those deeper dimensions.
Stay tuned.
All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive.
And we're tackling the big question now.
The long game. How do we make these total leadership changes last?
It's not a one-time thing.
Yeah, not a quick fix.
It's more like a journey,
A journey of self-discovery and growth.
Exactly. It takes time.
So how do we make sure this isn't just temporary enthusiasm?
It's about weaving those principles into your everyday life.
Making it a habit.
More than that, it's a shift in mindset.
From doing to being.
I like that. It's about authenticity, integrity, innovation.
Okay, that sounds inspiring, but also a bit abstract.
How do we make those internal shifts stick?
Yeah, what are some concrete steps?
One thing that really helps is building a strong support system.
Support system.
People you trust,
Friends, family.
colleagues, mentors, anyone who can offer encouragement.
So they're like our cheerleaders.
Exactly. They can also provide accountability.
So we don't fall back into old habits.
Right. And they offer fresh perspectives.
Kind of like a sounding board.
Yeah. And don't forget about seeking guidance from others.
You mean like mentors or coaches?
People who've already walked the total leadership path.
They can offer wisdom and insights.
Help us navigate those challenges.
And avoid those common pitfalls.
Exactly. It's like having a guide in unfamiliar territory.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about our own internal compass?
You mean your leadership vision and core values?
Yes, those guiding principles.
Those are crucial. But remember, they're not static.
They change over time.
They evolve as you do. Life throws curveballs, priorities shift.
It's easy to get off track.
So regularly revisit your vision and values.
To make sure you're still aligned with what truly matters.
It's like calibrating your compass.
Keeping us headed in the right direction.
That's a great way to put it.
It sounds like total leadership requires constant self-reflection.
It does. And regular reflection is another key practice.
What do you mean by reflection?
Take time to assess your progress. Celebrate your wins, learn from your mistakes,
So it's about acknowledging how far you've come.
and identifying areas where you can grow.
So turning experience into wisdom.
And as you reflect, think about how you can share those insights with others.
Pay it forward.
Exactly. Inspire others to embrace total leadership.
Create a ripple effect of positive change.
Yes, you become a catalyst for a more fulfilling way of living and leading.
It's amazing to think we can make a difference in the world just by embracing these principles.
It's about stepping into our full potential as leaders in every aspect of our lives.
Wow, this deep dive has been truly inspiring.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm ready to keep learning, keep growing, keep striving for those four-way wins.
That's the spirit. And remember, it all starts with a single step.
What small experiment will you design today to move closer to achieving a four-way win?
That's the question we leave you with today. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep creating those four-way wins in your own life and in the world around you. See you next time.